Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey. So as you can tell, this is a much more expensive, this is a little more expensive bottle of Ryder's Tears. It's the Cask strength that came with this fancy little box. And real quick so we can get this out of the way. It slides out. I don't know if it's real wood or not, but it slides out and the bottle comes in here. I didn't put the bottle back in here so I could show how to get it out because it's really hard to get the right angle to actually get the bottle out. So be very careful. Don't break your whiskey when you do that. But this one, the Cask strength, does come with a fancy little box. So yeah, but
interesting concept.
Yeah.
Nice
usually
marketing material.
When you spend a little bit more, it usually comes in really fancy packaging, and that's their fancy packaging for this. So.
Oh, fancy.
But yeah, it's Ryder's Tears. We are celebrating all you NaNoWriMo warriors. Again, please feel free to, if you're doing NaNoWriMo or if you are an independent publisher of any kind, feel free to link to your writing below if you want people to check it out. Anything you've published independently, and and we'll check it out. But this episode is another salute to all you writers out there. This is Ryder's Tears, but while we take a drink of this in silence, Dark Helmet, do your thing.
Ludicrous speed!
All right, for our very special guest, for those of you guys who haven't been watching the past 2 weeks, this is the man who inspired this entire podcast to be. He is our very special guest, a friend of me and Jeremy's for several decades. And Robert, what do you think of the Cask strength version of Ryder's Tears?
Well, last week we had the non-cast strength. This one, I like the flavor a lot better. And you know, the initial flavor is a good, nice feel to it. The burn had a nice warm feel coming down. It lingered a long time afterwards. I went to take my second drink. I'm like, no, I'm still I can still enjoy the flavor on it. So I'm not as much of a Irish whiskey fan as I am more of a bourbon fan, but this is probably my favorite Irish whiskey I've ever had. I enjoyed this one a lot better. So I'm looking forward to finishing the glass.
Okay.
People who drink need to keep drinking.
Okay. Gabe?
Honestly, I can tell you right now.
But by the way, new drinking game. Whenever he says the word honestly, take a drink.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, take a drink or take a sip.
Yeah, take a sip. Yeah.
Let's see, there we
go. So, all right.
I can tell you that, at least in my opinion, that this is a much better version than last week's version. This is much smoother on the tongue. It's got a more full-bodied flavor to it. It's not lacking in any way, shape, or form. It's got a nice, mellow mouth feel. It doesn't burn at all, and then the finish is actually very drawn out and long-lasting, at least for me. I agree with Bob. I was very happy with, waiting to take another sip because of the fact that it was still going at the end of the drink. It didn't really, go away immediately. It was very tasty and very nice.
Jeff?
Well, yeah, you can definitely tell that it's higher proof.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad thing necessarily, but yeah, definitely much, yeah.
What's going on? Wonder how that started.
Much higher quality than the last one. I was reading the back of the bottle, and it's amusing that none of the buzzwords that they threw on there from the previous bottle, as far as what they expect you to taste, are on this one.
It's very true.
Which
They don't have to lead your imagination on.
Yeah,
with it.
this one. I mean, this one still tells you what to expect. I'm not sure how much I agree with their words on this one, but none of them match the other one either. So I know putting a little bit of water in your whiskey, which is essentially what they do, and they go from cask strength down to 80 proof, can change a whiskey a lot. But I don't think it should change it that much.
Yeah.
That being said, this one's not weird like the other one was.
Yeah.
So this one's actually like how
weird.
I would expect a whiskey to taste and act.
Yeah.
And yeah, thumbs up on this one for sure.
Yeah.
So this is 106 proof, and I got to say that this is one that if it was $30, absolutely highly recommended. If it was $30, if it was $70, it would still be worth it. For $150, which is what this cost, I don't think it rises. It's good. It's better than the last week's. It's better than the 80 proof Writer's Tears, but it's definitely not worth the 150. For 150, you can get a lot better whiskeys out there.
It must have value elsewhere.
I know of better Irish whiskeys for $30. So it's good. It's an improvement. I am surprised that this is non-chill filtered because it just doesn't have.
It's still triple distilled.
It's still triple distilled. So it's non-chill filtered, but it is triple distilled. So, and that's a thing with Irish whiskeys is they are pretty much all triple distilled. I'd be really curious if you did everything the same, but didn't triple distill it. Maybe you would. I think it would bring out some of bring out some things that are not in this, and maybe you would get something that was worth $150.
Well, the other thing I wonder about it is the fact that it's done in oak bourbon barrels, so that will change the flavor as compared to traditional barrels, anyway.
Well, actually, a lot of Irish whiskeys, it seems, are done in basically virgin American oak. Which is what bourbon is done in.
Last week said it was copper pot, or no? It can
Yeah,
be
it's
both.
copper
No,
pot.
that
Yeah, it
was
is copper
bourbon
pot.
barrels
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, this is copper pot. This is copper pot. This is copper pot. Last week's was copper pot, but it's triple distilled in that copper pot. So it's like I said, this is totally worth $70, not worth $150. It's. I gotta say, the brand of Writer's Tears is becoming more and more popular. But in my opinion, there's definitely better Irish whiskeys out there. Jeremy, what's your thoughts?
The smell's deceiving. Very, very mild smell, but as I taste it, you got an initial sting on your tongue, initial burn on the back of the tongue and down your throat. Cleared my sinuses. But after a few seconds after rolling down the back of your throat, very flavorful. Very, like I said, I am still trying to process it. I would enjoy this for a special occasion. Like I said, my knowledge on Irish whiskeys isn't all that great, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the flavor. The only thing I didn't like about that was my sinuses being cleared.
Oh, okay. I always find it to be a good thing to have clear sinuses, but that's just me. Just in tribute, I know last week Jeremy had a great story about writers who think that they're above that impossible wall, trying to break through that impossible wall, think that they don't have any chance.
What a waste of a great writer.
And with all the hoopla of Jane Silent Bob reboot, I was watching an interview with Kevin Smith, and he was talking about how when he was a kid, he thought that you had to get like special permission from the government to be a writer. And his sister told him that, no, anybody can write. It doesn't take anything. Anybody can write. And that's what opened up the door to him. And he started experimenting with writing even as a young kid. And, he basically the film slackers kind of let him know, oh, yeah, no, even though you have no connections, no big Hollywood connections, you can still put out something independently. And nowadays, with today's technology, nothing should hold you back. Clerks was done for a ridiculously low amount of money, but because the writing was good, the movie became this iconic classic. So don't let anything stop you from creating. Don't let anything stop you from writing. Almost every single writer out there that has come to prominence, you ask them what their advice is to writers, and almost every single one of them just says, just keep writing, write more, and that's all you need, is just continue to write until you get it. That's pretty much all you need to know, and that's the only advice anybody can give you. That's the advice I give myself to try and light a fire under my backside to get my writing done. But all you NaNoWriMo warriors out there, please post the links to your previous work and let us know what you've done. We encourage you to don't just consume, but create. And anybody got any final words for this 2-week tribute to NaNoWriMo Warriors?
A, I cannot say that. So B, thanks for having me here for the last few weeks. I've watched every episode. I feel like I know these guys really well. I've known Mark and Jeremy now for several decades, but I've really enjoyed being here. It's been great, great meeting you guys. It's fun to be on part of the show this week, last few weeks as well.
Thank you for being here, Bob.
Thanks for a lot.
Thank you very much, Bob.
All right. So that's it for this week. And happy Thanksgiving. And we got our little Thanksgiving decorations out. So, but it's still got a Halloween backdrop. But I think that works for when you
still got
when
the
you
pumpkins
well
and
when
everything.
it's got pumpkins and let's face it, when you hang out with family too long, you start thinking really dark thoughts. So
I was going to say, you got the
still
Dark
works.
Souls
Yeah,
idea
I think
here.
it still
Yeah,
works.
it works
Everybody
right
has a
now.
family member.
Works out perfectly.
Yeah. And if you don't know who that family member is, it's probably you.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Everybody have a great adventurous NaNoWriMo, and we will see you next week with another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey.
Please like, comment, and
Subscribe.
subscribe for more.
Maybe this NaNoWriMo will get George Martin to do some writing.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe finish that book. All right. See you guys next week.
Thank you.